I'm Caravan Dan.
And I'm Connor.
This is Gaming Caravan's top board games of 2024. These are games that came out in 2024, for the record. And just so you don't flame us in the comments, I'm going to list all the ones I've played. So if you wonder why it's not on my list, make sure you check if I've even played it, and Connor's going to do the same. We're only doing the top 5 with 1 or 2 honorable mentions. And let's get started. So the games I've played, I'm not counting any games releasing in 2025 I've played, such as Me Bunny's Estate and Gems of Eurydice. The games I played are 52 Realms, Andromeda's Edge, Arcs, Cities, Comic Book Boom, Courtesans, Creature Caravan, Donut Shop, Dungeon Cart, Fractured Sky, Harmonies, Love Letter Bridgerton, Lure with the expansion, Reavers of Midgard, River Valley Glassworks, Rolling Realms Redux, I forgot that was one of them, Rolling Realms Redux.
It is, yeah.
It is. Slay the Spire, Star Wars Deck Building, the Clone Wars Edition, Stone Spire Architects, Tether, Tur Nanog, I hope I say that right, Wormspan, Yet, not Three Ring Circus, Abduction, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
So the last game was Yet.
So, and I've played Andromeda's Edge, Arcs, Creature Caravan, Daitoshi, Flock Together, Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, Harmonies, Let's Go to Japan, Leviathan Wilds, the new Seven Wonders duel, so Lord of the Rings duel, Lure, Malem Space Agency, the Space Cats game, River of Gold, Rock Hard 1977, Rolling Realms Redux, Skyrise, Slay the Spire, Stone Spine Architects, Things and Rings, and Wormspan, and A Message from the Stars.
And I completely forgot Let's Go to Japan was this year. I lost a quarter of my stats for the whole year, sadly, in like May. But yes, I've also played Let's Go to Japan. My honorable mention is purely for me. I understand some people don't like it. I love it, is Dungeon Cart. I love Dungeon Cart. I wish more people loved Dungeon Cart. It can play like 8 people. It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
It's so fun. It's an 8-person.
It was that many.
It's like 6 to 8 people Mario Kart. It's so fun. So your turns are like literally 3 to 5 seconds. You just bump each other and do 1 lap around. I thought 1 lap was short, but then there's a lot of things that happen. It's good. It's fun, and I wish people were obsessed about it as I am. So that my honorable mention was Dungeon Cart.
So my 5 and my honorable mention were very close. I played both of them twice, and I ended up edging one out over the other. Maybe it's a little bit of recency bias because we just played it, but Harmonies is my honorable mention. It's the game, I call it, anytime I explain it, I say it's kind of like Azul and Cascadia together. So you're drafting little tiles and putting them in your environment, kind of like Cascadia. And then you score based on the little animals that you take and how you place things. And it's super quick, which I really like about it because you can play it in about 20 minutes once you've played it once or twice.
So your honorable mention was Harmonies?
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a top 5. That's like everyone I know. That's like their top 5.
Like I said, I think they're basically tied. And I just played one over the other. And the other one's a little bit more thinky. And they're kind of doing the same thing, I guess. You'll see.
Just say number 5 then. Go for it.
Okay, so my number 5 is Creature Caravan. So we actually just got this.
They do the same?
Well, I mean, they're both like solitaire, little interaction. I feel like you're building your little engine a lot longer. They're not that similar, but I think they fill that like lighter weight solitaire type game where there's not interaction. Everything else on my list has a lot of interaction, I feel like, this year.
Oh, that's why.
Especially at the top.
See, I just played with Danny and Kat the other day because Danny bought it, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, right when I said it was low interaction, Kat took what I wanted. I'm like, suddenly the interaction is significantly more annoying.
I guess you're taking each other's tiles.
That's the only thing. If you want something they take it, that's the only thing. So if you play with like the full player count, it could suck with that one thing.
I think I've only played it with 4 people.
Oh,
I haven't actually played it less.
I played it 5 with you guys, and I played it 3. And I'm not going to lie, actually the 3 hurt more than the 5, just because we were doing similar stuff. But I still liked it. It was a good game. No, it's not my top 5, but my number 5 is Arcs.
I thought that would be higher.
I want to know, my top 5 is, I'm actually going to switch these two, but they're all close. The only thing that stands out is like number 1 honorable mention. The rest of the 3 or 4 are completely almost interchangeable. But yeah, Arcs is number 5. It's fun. It's just, I like games I can do everything I want to do. That's not one of them. But that's the whole point of the game. You know, you don't do what you want to do. It's a nice space exploration. The combat can feel bad. The main thing I suck with that game is you only score what's declared for the chapter. I never get the initiative to declare.
Yeah.
And I never get to score what I want to score. And the few times I almost can, someone will take like more ships than me, more than I'm like, so I start crying about it. It's a great game that I can never win, which is probably why it's like lower. But that's my number 5.
Okay, so my number 4, I was kind of surprised, but looking back, it makes sense. And I tried to keep things that I've played a couple times on my list, so none of these games I've only played once, which is nice.
That's fair.
Just because I don't generally like to rate a lot of things or put it highly in any kind of list or any opinion if I've only played it one time, because you don't really get to experience a lot of it.
Valid.
And it's a riff on a game that a lot of people have played. So my number 4 is Wormspan.
That's a good one.
Laura and I play Wormspan a lot, 2-player. I think it's really good 2-player. I played it, I think, 5 times this year already. And if you played Wingspan, it's basically Wingspan 2.0. You're collecting your little dragons and hatchlings and putting them in your environments. But it adds just a little bit more. So I like the little guild track that you're kind of racing each other around.
Oh my gosh, so
because
fun.
it's kind of crazy. The first time you play, it doesn't seem that important. But as soon as someone starts beating you to all the objectives and you realize how many points you're losing, it becomes a major race to push each other over the edge.
Yeah.
And it adds a little bit of complexity in the way that you can kind of get different amounts of turns and plan when you're going to do something.
Oh yeah, the coins is like the best thing about it. I love that so much. It makes it so good.
But definitely, if you don't like Wingspan, you probably won't like Wormspan. There's a lot of shared
That's
DNA,
very true.
but it's more gamer Wingspan. Is how I would
it's
describe
dragons.
it.
I mean, come on.
And if you like dragons, you're gonna like that.
That's
more.
so easy. Yeah,
but birds are definitely more inviting for the average person.
Yeah, but also it's deceptive, and I'm gonna start just talk about it too, because also my number 4 is Wormspan.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to be higher, but it's like I never almost want to get to the table. I'm hyped when it's there, but it's like I'm never the ones like, let's play Wormspan. I'm an IP junkie. The dragons are beautiful. The dragons are nice. The guild is like my favorite thing about that. The guilds would set it apart. I think added a lot of the complexity type to it. And like my issue is you can only play one bird a turn in Wingspan. Wormspan, I play like 2 to 3, like just constantly. I can fill up my whole board, and then that final row where you can just drop resources and then get an extra coin, which is like an extra turn. And you can get so many. My specialty is getting all those coins.
You can take a lot of extra turns.
It's so nice. It's so good. I love Wormspan, to be honest. But yeah, that's my number 4 as well, actually.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found just one last thing. That's a good point. It's a game that I like a lot, but I don't know if I necessarily reach for it, especially because recently we've been playing a lot of different games.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good comforting game when you're like, I don't really know what I want to play. And you pull that one off, and you know it's going to be done in like 75 minutes, and you get a good experience.
But I'll say this much. I don't think it would be so high if I didn't have the deluxe components. Because honestly,
I still don't have those, but I want to get them.
Dude, I kind of want to give you some. Dude, the metal coin, the metal coins feel so nice. I saw the other ones, and I'm like, oh no, the metal coins are beautiful. The tokens, somehow the tokens actually don't really matter. Like the milk looks kind of weird. The meat looks nice. The gems look kind of weird, but like the coins, the metal coins are so worth it. Oh my gosh.
See, I'm more interested in the little milk bottles than the coins, because I feel like the coins you don't really use that much. Obviously, you place them on your board each turn, but you handle the little milks and the little meats.
Dude, I'm the opposite. I collect those coins when I'm thinking. Oh, it's so nice. No, I messed with that way too much. That's funny. That's interesting. Oh my god, we just got to trade. But all right, number 3 then.
Okay, my number 3 is surprising how good it is. It is Slay the Spire, the board game.
Wow, that's low. Wow.
Yeah, my top 3 are very close.
Okay.
This is the game that I think it's the game that I've effectively played the most this year.
Probably.
On this list, it 100% is. There's a couple other smaller games that I've played more, but as far as a big game, this is the game that I've played the most.
Dang, it's only like 6 months.
Yeah, and it was in a short period of time. I think I've played 17 acts.
So, holy crap! Yeah.
So, and I count a play of this because each, if you're not familiar, Slay the Spire is a roguelike deck building game where you're kind of fighting in a different lane. So it's fully cooperative, and that's the main difference from the video game. And you're building your deck and battling basically little dungeon monsters as you try to get to the end of the act.
Dang.
And if you beat the final act boss, you go to the next act. And that it can be one complete game experience, which is kind of what I like about it, because even if you don't want to play the full try to go all the way through to the end, you still get a full game in like an hour and a half.
Yeah, because you don't have anything restricted to act like 2 or 3, right? It's just
Nope.
all like the same deck. You just get lucky sometimes.
Yep, it's just the monsters get better, more strong. And as you play the game too, each time you play it, you can unlock some stuff. So the first, basically like 10-ish acts, you unlock some stuff, and you get so new cards, colorless cards that can be picked up by anybody. Which I actually haven't used yet because I've been teaching a lot of people. And that's just a little too much to add to someone that hasn't played it before, but. I really like it. I played it through a bunch. I think I've taught like 8 different people.
Dang, dude. Yeah, because you played like 20 hours. If it's 17 acts, it's like 20-something hours.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually the first act takes longer, especially if people haven't played it. The middle act seems to be the fastest because the monsters are like middle strength. And then the final boss usually takes a little bit longer in Act 3 because it's, you're at the edge and usually you're on kind of the edge of dying.
That's fair. That's fair. I thought it'd get faster with each one, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I find the first one, if people haven't played before, is the longest just because they're going up to speed. And then the second one is the shortest, and the third one is slightly longer than the second one.
Because you've done the whole run with like, haven't you done the full 4-player run?
I think.
We've done the full run in like 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's actually insane. You can do all
and that's
3 acts.
including like setting up, switching acts, and all that.
Oh, true, yeah, because there's a setup low-key between each one.
Yeah, it's not too much.
Yeah.
I would say that's the only downside of Slay the Spires. There's a little bit of upkeep, but once you've played it once or twice, it's not much more than most games. I mean,
it's better than like Borderlands, where each one, and like each trading up like 30 minutes each minimum, not including like reading the scenario and the whole stuff.
Yeah, you basically just, it's a huge box, and I have the collector's edition, so there's some play mats and stuff. And it's just a huge box of cards. There's over 500 cards in it. Each person has a deck of like 100-ish cards, I think. I'm not sure the exact number. And then to switch acts, you would take out the Act 2 cards, like place them out, switch out Act 3. And you reseed the board, but that only takes a couple of seconds. It's just some tokens that you flip over.
Dang.
But it's very smooth. If you like the video game, I think you'll really like or should try the board game. And I've also had really good experience with people who haven't played the video game whatsoever, and they really enjoyed it. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, it's weird. I like I don't know. I don't like the video game. The board game's okay. Like, I didn't dislike it. I played it that one day, and like I would have. We played it 2 days, and I would have like done the whole thing. I would replay it probably if I wanted to. It's just the video game's known like kind of like mindless droning clicking stuff, and I feel like that was like a slower version of it, but.
I think the advantage over the video game is that it's fully cooperative. So the video game is only single player, and you get to do a lot.
Yeah.
You're not really forced, but you have to be a little bit more careful in the video game to make sure that you survive.
Yeah.
Where in the board game, you can kind of feed off of each other. So one person can be like all-out attack. One person can kind of defend for other people to make sure you don't do damage. So there's a little bit of flexibility in how you build your decks, depending on what character you're playing too.
Yeah, I played. What was the ball guy?
You played the Ironclad. Oh no, you played the oh my gosh, what's his name? You have to cut that part.
Whatever it was, yeah. But anyways, him, that dude with the balls,
the
and
defect.
the defect, and the dancer, I think it was.
The Watcher.
They're pretty. They're pretty cool. I like them a lot. The defect and Watcher. I mean, I guess the daggers has an infinite loop. You can get kind of clutch if you know what you're doing, which is nice. There's always satisfying combos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I see the appeal. But I'm surprised you've talked about that a lot. I'm surprised it's number 3.
I think the only reason it's number 3 is that there is a video game.
That's true.
So if I were to say the game that I've played the most and probably enjoyed the most, it would be 1 or 2. But the fact that I already knew that I was gonna like it, and it's not super unique.
Yeah.
It's a video game adaptation of a game. It's kind of like a loop. It was effectively a board game video game form, so they just reverted it back. But
that's fair.
I think the other 2 edge it out because they're like unique experiences.
That's fair. My number 3 is Creature Caravan. 2 of these games.
So that's really high up.
Yeah, 2 of my 6, I guess, have I've only played once. Creature Caravan's one of them. But I want to, and I definitely got the full experience. I don't need to be like, I don't think I didn't miss anything. We saw the entire deck. We saw all the cards.
Yeah, with 4 people, we did see almost all of the cards. Yeah.
No, I ended up drawing the last 2. We saw everything.
Okay.
There was nothing left, and I want to get the expansion really badly. It was a Christmas gift too. Everything was. Oh, that was a great game. It's nice. I mean, might be a little bit biased because the Caravan theme. I love the Caravan theme, obviously, with the Gaming Caravan brand. But it was cool. It was a fun. It was my first, or technically second dice placement, because my first dice placement was like 3 months ago with Dinosaur Island.
Castles of Burgundy, dice placement.
It is dice placement.
Yeah.
So I played now 5 dice placement games. But I think this is my favorite one, especially even after we played Kingsburg last night. Kingsburg was nice, but I really like Creature Caravan because it's like solitaire, nice, really cozy.
It's very cozy.
Very cozy. Very like that's one of the few games I might play solo because the setup's not hard. It's a real board game.
You really just place out the boards randomly and get a stack of decks and collect your, dump your little baggie of pieces out.
I really like how like minimal interaction is, but I usually like more player interaction. But that one because you want to do a lot. So if someone's on my space and I couldn't go on it, I would be mad. But the fact it doesn't matter if you share tents, it doesn't matter if you share spaces, it doesn't matter if you want to do stuff because everyone has their own independent board. But yeah, I really like creature collectors. This was like a really nice creature collector. This was a creature collector essentially.
Yeah, I think
essentially,
so.
Right?
I mean, it's not, I guess, in the traditional sense of what you would think is creature collector, like you're battling them and training them, but you're building your little band of
right. I mean, you're like hiring
travelers, I guess, because there's the little toads and there's humans, there's machines, there's all kinds of stuff that you can put into your caravan. And
it's really good synchrony. Like I ended up getting some stuff that worked out. It's like, oh, if you get 3 magic, boom, 8 points. And I thought I had 3 magic. It's a lot of cool stuff. Like if you want a giant, +2 giants. If you want to do combat, you get extra points for like if you have 3 deadly. So you can really build into whatever you want. There's a lot of different routes, and the expansion apparently adds a 5th player.
5 and 6, I think.
Adds 5 and 6. And then it adds like the new item, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna like the items, but we'll see how it goes. Which you can equip onto the people in your caravan.
Oh, interesting.
Right? And it adds, I think, a new resource. I saw something like that. I want to get it 100%.
I think one of the best things too is that it's completely simultaneous.
Yes.
There's basically no downtime.
There isn't. Yeah.
There's an upkeep phase, and it's just slide some things down. Yep. And I'm looking more and more, especially when you're playing with people that haven't played as many games. And I feel like our group is people that have played, especially my group, it's people that have played very few games and people that want to play really like medium, heavy games. Yeah. And so having some games that can fit both people, especially if you have some of each at your game night, is really good because you can teach the rules very quickly, especially if you played a couple games. Yeah. The rest they'll figure out as they kind of place things, and you still get a good game out of it.
And it's slightly modular,
and you can go up to 4 or 6.
Yeah, and it's slightly modular with how you like place the tiles because each one has 2 faces.
Yeah, I think even the start tile has 2 faces.
Oh, so there is a single start tile.
Yeah, there's the only one that matters is the start tile, and I believe it has two faces, and then the other 3 are double-sided also, and so.
See, look at that. It's just so many different. And I like games where you can talk on, like if it's your turn, if you're kind of waiting for a second, so kind of way you just like catch up real quick. Yeah. I play games where you can kind of talk during, which is why I like 4X games, and I also like games where I can talk. And playing a 4X game when you talk, everyone hates you, but I'll take it. So this one's like it's an overall good experience. But all right, 2.
All right, number 2. It was also on Daniel's list. Is Arcs. So Arcs is
2.
Yep.
That's fair.
A lot of people will call it the sequel to Root. I think there's some legs in there because it's a cool worldly design, but I find that Arcs is a lot easier to teach and probably going to get played more than Root. Root's one of my favorite games of all time, but I don't really get to play it because you kind of need, for one, people that are willing to be pretty mean to each other because it can be very aggressive.
100%. Yeah.
And 2, you really need people that have played it before because if you've played it a few times and someone at the table has played it a lot of times and they're not able to dial back that competitive nature, they're just going to kind of roll over the new player, and you really need to play it at least 4 times to know the base game.
Yeah.
And most of us have some amount of the expansions, so then you're throwing in all these other variables that change things, and a lot of times the first time people play it, they go, oh, that was a great game, but I have no idea what anybody else was doing.
No, 100%. I played the game 2 or 3 times, no idea what the Ravens do. Yeah. I hear, and oh no, my Empire fell. I'm like, good for you, I guess, or it sucks for you. Sorry to hear that. Text too long.
Yeah, so Arcs, I think, gives that same experience, the kind of, you're trying to build up your empire, you're trying to adapt to what other people are doing. There's a little bit, a lot of table talk and I'll help you do this if you do that, and at the same time, like Daniel said, the best way to describe Arcs is you want to do something and you're never going to be able to do it.
Never. So stupid.
Because the hand of cards doesn't do it or somebody gets in your way, so you're constantly having to adapt. Yeah. And I think that's why you'll either really like Arcs or bounce off it immediately, because you have to go into the game knowing that you're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do right when you want to do it.
Yeah, or like anything, dude. That's the only reason I had AP in that game, because like, dude, I want to do my one thing. Either I want to use like one card with all the pips, or I want to at least do one action. I can't do any of it, so you just have to make do, bro. But it's cool.
Yeah, we just played the first game of the campaign, which adds even more. They call it a space opera for a reason, because it adds lots of. Everybody takes a unique role with a unique mission.
It was cool,
and that adds. It was very bonkers. I'm excited to see what comes next, because it took a game that all of us really liked already and added some over the topness. Is how I describe it.
I would have put Arcs the expansion. I would have put, if we finished it just based off the first game, if it stayed the same experience, I would have put it like higher up on this list.
Yeah.
Because I hate it, because I love Arcs, but for some reason the expansion, it really sucks when you can't do what you want to do. I was one thing off, and that stuck my entire like third act or third chapter.
Third chapter, yeah.
Which ended up making me go from like 7 points to 1 point. I was like in the middle lead type stuff to like last place easily. But it was still fun. Like, I had a great time. That was such a good time. I'm like, I want to finish. I can't wait to finish that.
Yeah, and everything that I know is it gets more crazy as you go through the campaign. Because I know in the third act, so you play 3 games.
Yeah.
The final game, you can take a sea fate, which is kind of like your objective. I guess it's the character that you're playing as, right? Because you're each leading a colony in the Reach, and one of the sea fates, if you win your fate, you just immediately win the game, no matter what your score was on the other ones. So they're obviously a little bit harder to achieve, and everybody knows that, so they want to prevent you from achieving that.
Just like
So I'm kind of excited to see that. Excited to see that happen.
I that was my goal, to just get one automatically and do that. But I thought it would be in B. I think it'd be in C.
It's only in C, yeah.
If I'm doing decently in B, I might not get that.
Yeah,
but.
And then I guess the downside is you lose all the progress that you've had, because you don't get to keep your little upgrades and stuff that you've collected. But
that's more like a Hail Mary, but I appreciate there is.
That's
like
exactly what it is.
That. I love
and
that
I think
so
it makes sense, because a lot of these like heavy fight build on what you've done and established throughout the games. At some point, you just can't win. And I think it was smart to have some kind of like, all right, I know this is probably not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah,
I think that'll be fun to see. Now everybody knows that you're trying to do that, and what do we do to stop it? Yeah, the stories are definitely cool, because like, bro, I mean, I lost my objective by 1 turn. I don't want to talk about it, but I immediately, like, I had to get rid of my guy. And the guy ended up picking up I became the Blighted. Like, I became the third party. I'm like, I want to do that so badly. I'm so excited.
Because immediately it's like, so, like, there's 2 factions. Guess what? You're the third. I'm like, well, let's go. I can't wait to use a flagship, though. I'm definitely going to be a flagship next time. But, anyways, Arcs is dope.
It's very good.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
Number 2? Dude, I want it known. I wish people had played this game. In our house, in my groups, Bloodborne the card game, super high up, right? It's a great like 5-player game, semi-co-op.
I always forget that goes to 5.
Right, and it's good at 5. It's good at all player counts. That's the thing. But this game, Reavers of Midgard, goes to 6.
I have not played that one.
Sorry, Reavers of Midgard, the card game. I forgot. It's the card game, because Reavers of Midgard came out like 2016, something like that. This is the card game version of that game. It is another semi-co-op with negotiations that are very controlled, very quick, and if you don't agree by the end of it, no one gets what they want. So it's like very incentivized.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know it was semi-co-op.
It's semi-co-op in the sense of like if you and someone else goes to a location, or 3 people go to the same location, everyone that goes to those locations, and there's 1 location per player in the game, I believe. So 5 players would be 5 locations. You all reveal, go there. If you're the only one that goes there, you get everything, and it's dope, because sometimes people don't go there because they think someone else is gonna go. Oh my gosh! But you have to make sure to play the right card, because I played the wrong card and suddenly didn't get a completely untouched location. But semi-co-op in the sense you can trade what's on your board. So if someone goes to a location for like 2 relics, and you have money, and let's say like you just want the $1, but you don't want to give them 2 relics, you'd be like, hey, I'll give you 2 relics if you also give me $1. So it's like you definitely kind of help. A lot of negotiation, but like very quick. I haven't had a negotiation go past like 2-3 minutes of, I want that, no. Can I have that? Okay, sure, basically. No one really holds out to be difficult, because there's no benefit.
Okay.
It's a fun game that plays quick, 6 players, semi-co-op-ish, and it's all like set collection. You just want a bunch of different kind of sets and points. It's very fun. You can attack people. It's just an overall great game. I want to own. The only complaint, because I want the dollar price to be less. Like $45 for a game that's like this, that's shaped like the Seven Wonders Architects expansion.
Oh,
Like it's very
a weird, yeah.
It's very small too. I mean, the components are decent, so I kind of get it. But $45 was like kind of a lot. So I'm hoping to get like even if it's just like $40. I have like some discount stuff. I'm hoping to cash in with that. But that's my number 2.
Yeah, I've actually not played any of the Midgard games.
Champions?
I haven't played any of
You
them.
haven't played Champions of Midgard?
No.
Bro.
That's like a gaping hole in my
No, honestly,
in my work replacement,
that's
games.
great. No, Champions of Midgard we loved, and then with the expansion, I'm not gonna lie, completely different, much better game. Because if you lose in combat in Champions, don't get me started. It's a good game. They're all good. I want to play Clans because Clans came out this year, I believe. The Kickstarter was, I think, last year.
Okay.
And Clans of Midgard to play this year. I don't know about Clans, but I know Reavers of Midgard was actually, for the record, designed by the owner of Chain of Stores here, Aaron, that owns Coliseum.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he designed that game. And also, the guy who designed the original Reavers of Midgard was another local person, JB Howell. So, weirdly enough, the Champion series runs through in Florida Blood.
That's funny.
And I think we have the same number 1.
Yeah, we neither of us have said it.
Yeah, so it's definitely up there. I mean, it's also, it's just me right there. It's Drama's Edge. Yeah, that giant box right there. And I'm forever grateful. I would not even own this game if it wasn't for Connor. Oh my gosh. They're such nice people. Luke Laurie's great. Dwellings, I love Dwellings. Connor got me onto this game. It's a sci-fi. I hate how people disagree. I don't care. Fantasy games that are good become great sci-fi games, and I like the fantasy theme more. So it's sad for me, but it's a great game.
So yeah, I think this was the year of sci-fi games
because
I didn't have any sci-fi games before this year, and now we have Arcs, we have Andromeda's Edge.
You don't have any?
No, there wasn't very. I guess. Do you
know,
count Dune as?
It technically is, but
I guess that's sci-fi, but that's not in the traditional spaceships.
You don't have
sci-fi.
you don't have Star Wars Pandemic?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, I don't have any. Yeah, I didn't have any sci-fi games before this in the traditional sense of like what we think of in board games, like spaceships, fighting.
That's true.
Those kind of things. I mean, Dune is obviously sci-fi. It's one of the greatest sci-fi books, but not in the board game form.
You don't own Twilight?
I do not own Twilight. No,
Really?
I've only played that once. Yeah.
Oh, you only played it once?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was like. Anyways, but yeah, Andromeda's Edge.
I mean, you play it once and you get your 6 to 8 hour experience.
That's true.
That's more than some people play all game.
That's very true. Yeah, you can play a game 3-4 times and not play for 8 hours at some point.
Yeah, no. Andromeda's Edge was the first game I ever kickstarted. It was near
That's
when
right,
I was getting. I played a lot of board games in college, but they were the games that everybody plays, like Catan, and I guess around COVID, I started to get right before I started to get back into board games and really learn about the bigger hobby games. Yeah. And shortly after that, I saw the Andromeda's Edge. I guess it was 2021 probably. I don't remember when it came out on Kickstarter, but I hadn't kickstarted anything. I didn't really know anything about it. Saw it on GameFound and got sucked into the page and went all in. And that was the one that I've been most excited about for a long time, which I think is why it was on my probably number 1 and beat out Arcs, because I spent so much time reading all the updates.
That's true, yeah. You were like emotionally invested in this game.
I was, yeah, and you never know when you jump in that early if it's actually going to pan out, and it turned out to be an amazing game, and we've played it 4 or 5 times now.
I played it 3. You played it like 4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, when it first came, I played it 3 times in 1 week, or in 10 days, I think.
That's crazy.
Because it came right around my birthday. We played that Wednesday or Thursday, then on the weekend with another group of friends, and then we played the next week.
Dude, that's a fun game. Like, I got hooked because last year, Dice Tower, 2023.
Yeah.
2023. Yeah, 2 days. It's 2025.
Because I didn't get to play Dwellings. I've not actually played Dwellings.
See, I played Dwellings. People just want to play a game.
You guys played that before. I don't know what I was. Oh, I think I was playing Thunder Road, and
something like that.
You guys were playing Dwellings.
No, I don't think you were there because it was Thursday. It was day 1.
Wednesday. I was there Thursday.
Oh, never mind that. Yeah. I know it was Thursday then. Never mind. But yeah, for some reason they just pulled me in. They're like, oh, I knew some 2 guys. Like we backed this game. It's arriving like next week. We want to try it out. So I'm like, okay, let's try it out. And Dice Tower usually has like all the promos and stuff like that. So they had the sound bases. They had like the neoprene mat.
That's so funny.
They had the neoprene mat that didn't even fit on the table. So I'm like, what's the point of this neoprene mat? I'm like, dude, what the heck? So we didn't use that, but sound bases were cool. And then someone else walked up who's now like a core of our Dice Tower crew, Vaughn. He's like, oh, I can teach. I played it once a while ago, and we all fumbled our way through that game. It was It was such a great game. I love fantasy. I love the whole beast. I like dice rolling. The combat kind of sucked halfway through because, like, you know, one number beats everything. But Andromeda's Edge that's the issue. But that's all. It's a good issue because now I don't really need to touch dwellings again. Because Andromeda's Edge, the targeting system fixed a lot of that combat. Where basically, if you have enough ships in the mix, your lowest number you can roll is significantly higher. So if I have like 3 ships in there, I can never roll a 2 or 1, which makes it so much better. It gives you a whole different strat.
It increases your odds of winning the battle. I think there's still that fun, oh my god, I won with my one little transport that only has 1 die. And so there's still, I think that's kind of fun. You can't go in expecting, everything to be super crunchy math.
Yeah.
It still has a lot of really good strategy, but I think there's that little edge that takes some of that off where it's what's going to happen here? But still, if you put all of your ships in and you've thrown all these eggs in, you're most likely to win by a substantially higher amount with the targeting than, I rolled 1 dice and I rolled 5 dice and got all 1s.
Yeah. It was nice flipping, because with all the tactics cards that do anything, they really do anything in that game. Score now.
Yeah, they do everything.
Kill someone, basically. Move everyone from location you want to go to. It's beautiful. It's nice because I had 1 transport I put in a mix against a raider with 4 dice. And then the raider rolled 4, 4, 3, 2. I flip a 6 and I win. It felt so good. That game has a lot of feel-good moments. Almost no feel-bad because you can always, if you get hurt, you can kind of almost always repair it. And worst case, it just comes back to your ship. You don't trigger one thing. So.
Yeah, I think I've heard that's a big complaint in Dwellings. I haven't played it, like I said, but I know the core mechanisms. And I know that's something that I really like about Andromeda's Edge, that people that are a little bit afraid of more fighty games, you can completely avoid fighting for the most part. I mean, the raiders will probably mess you up at some point, but you can go in and not really fight a lot. But if you do lose, you still get something out of it. And really, your ships dying don't hurt that much because there's ways to... the main mechanism is you're placing your ships out like workers, and then you pull them off the board. So if they die, you don't get the benefits of pulling them off of the board, but you can repair them and still get the benefits. So even if all of your ships are in the graveyard... And actually, we just played the other day, and my faction wanted my ships in the graveyard.
So stupid, bro.
So I was throwing them into the meat grinder to get benefits. And you can still pull them out of the scrapyard and use them to do actions.
Yeah.
So even if, out of the raiders or out of other people launching into your planet, you lose a bunch of stuff, it's not like you can't do anything. Yeah. Which some games, if you get picked on, you feel like you can never do anything. And it's not really your fault. It's kind of like the luck of the dice or whatever. And I don't feel that way. Especially when you can slot your little bonus moons into your...
that's nice, yeah.
I think it's called tactical operations, when you lose the battle. So you can get resources out of losing your ships. It makes it a lot less feel bad. Kind of in the way Blood Rage, you can lose a lot of stuff and still survive or get a lot of points from
That's true. I don't know, Blood Rage feels a lot worse to lose, in my opinion, because I never have those things that give me those.
That's fair. Yeah.
Hey,
you do have to draft those.
But still, it's like a strat in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But this is the second game from this year, also on our list, that, I'm not going to lie, adding the guilds kind of changed the tracks. Because in Wormspin, it was the guilds. And in Andromeda's Edge, it's your, what's it called?
Well, there's still the tracks and Dwellings, right? I guess maybe they're not as prominent.
I don't think so, actually.
I know in Andromeda's Edge, it's a lot, the way that there's tracks that you'll score at the end of the game. And your little starting faction gives you something to lean into, which I like. Because you kind of... gives you a direction on which tracks to go for, but it's pretty easy to go up the tracks if you want to make that your goal, just because it's streamlined. Like, you're buying the modules, which will push you up the tracks, and then the modules are giving you benefits. So it's not like you're sacrificing maybe the fun engine buildy aspect to go up the track. You get to do both.
Exactly. No, because I'm not sure if it's in Dwellings, and if it is, it's not nearly as useful, and you don't get nearly as much stuff. Yeah. In it's just, you get stuff left and right, and I love me a good track, just scoring up on stuff, but...
And I was surprised how much... My biggest fear was, is there going to be enough variability in what you're doing? Is there a core strategy? I'm always going to go for this because it's better or whatever. And the factions change a lot. There's over 15 factions if you have the expansions. Yeah. And every time we play it, we try to get new ones to see how they play with each other. And they change a lot based on way more than you would think on kind of your approach to the game.
Yeah, even the ships you get that you just draft randomly can
Yeah.
be kind of clutch, where it's like, oh, if I die, it just comes back to me. Like, what the heck?
I think the way that I describe Andromeda's Edge as we kind of close out is it's like everything that you want. You're teaching it to someone, and you're like, oh, and by the way, you can upgrade your ship. And you can fight these raiders. And you're going to get benefits. And if you die, you get benefits. And you can go up tracks. And if you go up the tracks, there's benefits. And if you if you go this way, you can do this crazy thing. And there's these tactics cards that, like, do craziness.
Yeah.
And everything about it is like, wow, there's that too? There's that too?
Yeah, and then we didn't even talk about the events. We need to play with meat events, because the nice events give Connor way too many points. We need the meat events to hurt people. Because too many times cards, like, I actually score 50 points for this one card. Oh my gosh. Anyways, but yeah, those are our top 5/6. And I think we only have, out of that, we still have, 9 games total? Because we shared Arcs, AE, Wormspan, and then it's Slave Spire, Creature, Harmies, Dungeon Cart, Reavers. So we have 9 games out of top 6 for 2 people. That's not bad. So yeah, I don't know if people say this is a bad year for board games. This had some pretty clutch games.
And we didn't even play some of the most popular games.
Yeah, we didn't play
SETI, The Unconscious Mind.
Yeah, Primal.
The Gang. I don't know anything about that
I've
game.
never heard of it until you told me about that today. Like, I have not heard of the Gang.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have different opinions, definitely comment them below. I'm very intrigued. If you want to join any of the communities, go to the description of the video and go to our Facebook group. Join our email list if you want to find out about our local Florida gaming events if you're in the state or willing to drive from close by states. But yeah, that's everything. Thanks for watching. Peace, have a great day. God bless. And I will catch you later.